Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Between Two Cities. Now, Between Two Cities is a 1 to 7 player game. Now, this is published by Stonemaier Games, and Between Two Cities Essential Edition, which is what I have right here, has the Between Two Cities original game and a big part of the Cities expansion. The game here is typically a 3 to 7 player game. However, there's a 2-player variant inside this game, and there's a very robust 1-player game that uses Stonemaier Games' autonomous system. So keep that in mind. And in this game here, you're going to be trying to build the best city. Well, you're going to be building a city to your left, you're going to be building a city to your right. Whichever of the two cities to your left or right that has the lowest score is going to be your score. And it's going to be the same for your opponents. Whichever city they have to the left or right is going to be that has the lowest score is going to be their score, and the player with the most points at the end of the game is going to win. So you're cooperatively building these cities with your opponents to the left or right and trying to basically negotiate your way to basically having an even score as possible between those two so you can have the highest possible score at the end of the game. So let's go ahead down to the table here. I'll give you a general idea how to play the game, and then we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so this is Between Two Cities. Now, Between Two Cities is generally a 3 to 7 player, fast-paced tile drafting game. However, there is a 2-player variant, and there is a very robust solo version, which uses Stonemaier Games Autonoma. But we are going to focus on the normal Between Two Cities multiplayer 3 to 7 player game. And here I have it set up for 3 players. What you're going to do to start is each player is going to randomly get one of these city maps. And what they're going to do is they're going to orient one to their right and orient one to their left. And so that in the end, there's going to be one between each player. So in here, 3 players, a player would sit here, a player would sit here, a player would sit here, and they have all their little city mats out. Now, they'll pick one of the city pawns here and place it there in front. And this is going to show that these all belong to these cities, so for scoring and stuff. This game itself is going to be played over 3 rounds. And what you're going to do is you're going to score at the end of the game your city to your left and your city to the right. The lowest scored city is your score. And the person with the highest score at the end is going to win. And then there's some tiebreakers in this also. If 2 players end up having the same score, we'll go over in a little bit. But in a gist, it's played over 3 rounds. You're going to be drafting tiles, and that is how you are going to determine a winner. Now, for the first round, you're going to, and I love how the box has a place to have all your random tiles in, and you can mix them up in here, and they're nice. For the first 2 rounds, you're going to be using, or for the first round, you're going to be using these tiles. For the second round, which we'll show in a second, you'll be using these tiles. And for the final 3rd round, you'll be using these tiles. What you're going to do is each player is going to get a stack of 9 tiles. So once we have our stack of 9 tiles, what you're simply going to do is you're going to draft these tiles. So how do you draft these tiles? You're going to take a look at them. And you're going to pick 2 of them, place them face down. On the first round, you're going to be drafting to your left. So then when you're done, you're going to go like that to indicate you're done. Once every other player has theirs ready to go, you're going to flip over your tiles. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to have to place one of these tiles to the city on your left and one of these tiles to the city on your right. You're going to openly negotiate with the other players of which tile's going to go where, because you're trying to basically get really good scores for the cities to your left and your right. You don't want to have one of them lagging too far behind because, again, your lowest score is what you get. So you're going to negotiate, and then you're going to place your tile. Now, the first tile has to go on this city mat. Now, this city mat is going to basically can be any configuration in your 5x5 grid, but these all count as tile spaces. So if you place a tile here, that means you can only have 2 more on either side of this. And it all has to fit in a 5x5 grid, including this city map. Now you might be asking, well, how do you get to this spot if this is on the corner here? Well, this little bridge will bring you across. The same with this one. It's a little bit more complicated. It has 2 different bridges. So if I place one here, this is considered adjacent for all purposes. That's how those placements going to work. So the first one has to be on the city map. Now, any other subsequent ones have to touch one of the other tiles placed. So I could place one here, here, or here. And again, if I would have started one here, I can place one here as adjacent. So you're going to place one to the city on your right, and you're going to place one on the city on your left. Your opponent's going to do the same. Place one on the city on their left and right. So at the first turn, you're going to have 2 of these tiles down. You're simply going to take, so let's say this was my opponent's, you're simply then going to take the tiles here that your opponent passed over to you from the left, pick 2, draft them, and continue. And you could continue on until there's only 1 tile left. Once that only tile left, that goes out of the game. It doesn't go back in the box, but then that round will end. So that is the first round, and you're done. The second round, you're going to take 3 of these tiles here, and you're going to pick 2 of them. So there's not going to be any drafting in the second round. You're just going to take a look at these tiles, and you're going to secretly pick 2, and you'll throw one under the city, I guess to your left, doesn't really matter, just so everyone knows you already picked your tiles. Then you're going to flip them over, and these still have to follow placement rules. So they have to be oriented properly. So this is the top. So this one here, this will be top, is a vertical set. And you're going to place them, one on your city to your right and one on the cities to your left. And you will do open negotiation with your person to your right and left to be able to maximize the points on each of those cities. In the third round, you're simply going to take 9 tiles again, like you did in the first round, and you're going to draft them and place them all out. Once that's done, you'll have a completed 5x5 grid city, and then you're going to score. Well, one of the most important parts of the game, how do you score? Well, each of these different cities score differently. So there's going to be a lot of things you're going to be taking into account while you're playing the game. So we're going to go over a couple of these and show you how they score. So one of them here, which is going to be this factory tile right here. So the factory tile right here has a couple different symbols on the bottom here. And basically what this means is in the cities, if tied, for the most factories are going to get 4 points each. The second one's going to get 3 points each, and the last one's going to get 2 points each. So you're trying to get the most factories with that. Have the city with the most factories with that one. The next one here is we're going to have these shops. And shop sets are going to be worth increasing. Let's see if I can get this in focus here. Oh, come on. Let's see if I could get something behind this here. So yeah, there we go. So these shop tiles are going to be worth points equal to however many are going to be adjacent to it horizontally or vertically. Now, so if this has like 5, not and or. So if this has like 5 horizontally to it, then you're going to take a look at this chart right here, and 5 is going to score you 20 points. If you had 3, it'd be 10. If you had 1, it'd be 2. And you can't double score any of these. So if you had a little cross pattern working, it would break up either the horizontal or vertical. So those 2 on either side would score separately. So this one here, you're going to score horizontal or vertically, and you don't want them to cross each other because that will break up your scoring, because you can only score those tiles 1 time. Let me go ahead and find a couple other tiles in here. But while we're doing it, we can go over parks. Now, parks are pretty simple. They're going to be just, doesn't matter how they're touching horizontally or vertically, but for every single one touching, you're going to, so if you have 1 touching, it's going to be 2 points. If you have 2 touching, it'll be 8 points. If you have 3 touching, it'll be 12, 4, 13, and 5 would be 14 points. And that's basically straightforward how those work there. Each of these fire stations, these ones are pretty unique. So these fire stations will have sort of positive and negative scoring on them. And the way they'll work is they're going to be looking for certain things to be next to for positive and certain things they don't want to be next to for negative scoring. Now, the way, so basically, if you're going to look at this way, if it is not adjacent to any positive or negative scoring types, it's simply worth 1 point. So if I don't have any of these positive ones adjacent to, it's going to be worth 1 point, or negative ones here. If it's adjacent to only one of the positive tiles types, it's worth 3 points. If it's adjacent to both positive tile types, which there's 2 here, it's going to be worth 6 points. If it's adjacent to the negative tile type, it only scores 1 point regardless of the other tiles. So you don't want to be near any negative scoring ones. And we have just a couple more tiles you can run into here. So let's get some more of them out here. Let's see if we can get some of these food types out. Well, we could go over this guy right here. So this guy is pretty cool. Basically, the way this one is each house tile is worth 1 point for each other building type, including houses and civics in the city, regardless of the location or adjacency. So basically, this is sort of like a cornucopia style guy right here. So however many different things you have in your city, the more points it's going to be worth. So this one here is nice if you're going to be able to branch out a little bit. If this house tile, however, is adjacent to a factory tile, it will only ever score 1 point. So you want to keep factory tiles completely away from this because no one wants to live next to a factory. All right, so we still have offices that I want to go over, and we still have taverns I want to show you. So let's see if I can find an office and a tavern. Offices want to be next to taverns. Let's see here. Yeah, so this one here is an office. So the way the offices works is they score 1 point for one office tile, 3 points for 2 office tiles, 6 points for 3 office tiles, and 10 points for 4 office tiles, and 15 points for 5, and 21 points for 6 office tiles, regardless of their location on the board, and they do not have to be adjacent. An additional bonus that you're going to get here is this. If this is next to a tavern, you're also going to get a bonus 1 point, which is really nice because you want to be living near a tavern. Now, let me find a tavern tile here. There's 4 different types of tavern tiles, and they are also regardless of location on the board. You just want to have those different types out. And just as general notices, generally if you have duplicates of stuff, they're just going to start new scoring sets. Here's a tavern tile. But there's 4 different types of tavern tiles. If you have all 4 types of tavern tiles out, you're going to get 17 points. If you have one of them, you're going to get 1 point. If you have 2 of them, you're going to get 4. If you got 3, you're going to get 9. And again, 4 is going to be 17 points. So you're trying to get all 4 of these tavern tiles out. That would be the best. And it doesn't matter where they are on the board. You will score from. If you have identical tavern tiles, you'll just start a new set and score accordingly for that stuff. So that is how scoring is done. In the original version, they actually had a board, just a huge, gigantic board, which is completely unnecessary for scoring. However, in the newer version here, they have this score pad right here that you will do, you should use instead. A little cleaner, definitely takes up much less table space, and it gets rid of an unnecessary board. So I'm perfectly fine with that. And that's it. So you're going to, like I said, go over 3 rounds, and the person with the high score at the end of the 3rd round wins. Well, what do you do if there is a tie? Well, the first tiebreaker is going to be compare the scores of the high scoring cities that are next to each player. So whoever has the highest high scoring city will win. After that, you're going to go through the quantity of tile buildings that are available, and whoever has the most of those. The person with the most factories is going to win. Otherwise, you'll do shops, parks, taverns, offices, and houses, and finally civic buildings until someone wins. And with the displacement of these, you should definitely have a winner at some point with those. So that's how you play between 2 cities. Let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this game. So I really like the Between Two Cities Essential Edition game. It is really well done. I like how they combined the base game with the cities expansion and just having those cities maps. The city maps gives like a sort of asymmetric feel to each of the cities on your left and right, which is really nice. And I like building that 5x5 grid instead of that 4x4 grid. I also like how the cities look nicer with those little mats too, because otherwise they looked a little blah, which is a minor point, but really nice touch to the game. Component quality is amazing, as always, for Stonemaier games. And I really like how they got rid of the big board. That didn't make any sense. It was a huge board and just went to a notepad to write down your scores. I think that's a little bit better. Maybe not everyone agrees, but I like it. I like the game overall. It's a very fast-paced tile placement game. It's very easy to teach. This would be one of the games that you could do as an entry-level game for other people just getting into the hobby and get them into a fun, fast-paced game. It's also good for people that have been in the hobby for a while because there's a lot of strategy in the tile placement, and it's a really fun game when everyone knows how to play the game and they're all in it to win it. So it's really fun with the negotiation portion and building each of those cities to your left and to your right. Like the high player count, there's not too many 7+ player count, 7 area player count games that play so fluidly and so quickly. So I like that also. Does the game take a little bit longer if it's 7 players? Not really, but yeah, I mean, you have more people. So, you know, if people take a little longer, some people take a little longer negotiating, that can happen. But really, with a 3-player game, you could have that guy that just wants to take a lot of negotiation time. So it really doesn't change much. And I like how you put those double size tiles down in that second round is really cool too. Overall, great game. If you're looking for a great higher player count, fast tile placement game, I would highly recommend checking out Between Two Cities Essential Edition. Thank you for watching.